Yes, my friends, the Philadelphia Eagles are once again at the center of the NFL spotlight, and rightfully so. The warrior spirit we once saw in legends like Brian Dawkins, that fearless safety who left it all on the field, seems to be alive and well in this team's DNA. The city is buzzing, and the fans, they're absolutely loving the direction this franchise is heading. But before we dive into today's first headline, I have a question for you. What grade would you give our front office for everything they've done this offseason? In my opinion, it's a solid A+, no doubt. I haven't felt this excited about the Eagles in decades. There's a real sense that we're on the right path and flying higher than ever. If you agree, drop it in the comments. Thank you for everything. A lot of people believe we're on track to win another Super Bowl, and honestly, I wouldn't bet against us. We're coming for it, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. For now, let's get into today's first big story. The Philadelphia Eagles are expected to sign defensive tackle Jacob Sykes as training camp kicks off, and the move speaks volumes about how seriously this front office is taking the depth and versatility of the defensive line. This isn't just a camp body. Sykes is a standout from the UFL, a Harvard graduate who also played at UCLA under Chip Kelly, and someone who impressed the Eagles staff enough during recent workouts to edge out other contenders like Joe Evans and Leonard Payne. That makes him the 15th UFL player to earn an NFL contract this year, and while he's certainly a tweener, perhaps a bit undersized for a defensive tackle and oversized for a defensive end, his raw athleticism is something that caught the team's eye. At 6 feet 2 inches, 282 pounds, Sykes is fast, explosive, and has a vertical leap and shuttle times that showcase serious athleticism for a lineman. Sure, he's not the biggest body out there, and no one's predicting a Pro Bowl, but you can see why Howie Roseman and the coaching staff gave him a look. With 19 tackles and 2 sacks in 9 games for the San Antonio Brahmas, he showed the kind of hustle and effort the Eagles tend to reward. Plus, coming out of Harvard and UCLA, you know he's smart, coachable, and adaptable. The odds are long to make the 53-man roster, but that's exactly the kind of long-shot story that excites fans during camp. Now pivoting to Nick Sirianni, this man is on a mission. Coming off a dominant 2024 season and Super Bowl victory, Sirianni is laser-focused on avoiding the same post-title pitfalls that hit this team back in 2018 after their first Lombardi. He's not talking about defending a title. He's talking about building sustained success. That's a mindset shift. Sirianni spent the offseason reaching out to other coaches who have led successful programs, digging into what it really takes to maintain a winning culture. His message to the team? Forget the past. Don't think too far into the future, and lock in on the present. He's preaching that to the players and living it himself. While other coaches cash in on speaking engagements, book deals, or personal brand building after a championship, Sirianni opted for an offseason centered on improvement. He's back in the classroom with his team, reteaching situational football, culture, fundamentals, starting from scratch like it's year one. He knows the league changes quickly and wants this group focused on daily growth. You can't live off last year's parade. It's been refreshing to see this no-nonsense approach. While some teams suffer from a post-championship hangover, Sirianni is attacking 2025 with the same energy and intensity that built last year's title run. The message is clear: no complacency. Everyone, from Jalen Hurts to the depth chart's bottom, is being asked to bring that same hunger back to the building. Speaking of Hurts, how about his arrival at training camp? Jordan gear head to toe, confident, cool, and carrying himself like a true franchise QB. Just a couple of weeks ago he was hanging with MJ in Greece. Now he's back in South Philly, locked in and ready to go. That swagger is real. This isn't just a guy who led you to a Super Bowl win. He's a guy who's hungry for more. And let's not overlook the leadership being shown by stars like A.J. Brown. When the team received their Super Bowl rings, Brown looked at his and said, "I know it's going to be hard, but we've got to do this again." You want to talk about mindset? That's it. You press a button on this ring and the wings literally fly out of it. It's the most detailed, over-the-top championship ring you've ever seen. But instead of sitting back and admiring it, Brown is already thinking about the next one. That's how dynasties are built. Nick Sirianni's refusal to dwell on the past or coast on past success is precisely what sets him apart from a lot of coaches around the league. You can have all the talent in the world, but without a cultural anchor, you go nowhere. Sirianni is the anchor. He gets it. He's not just calling plays. He's shaping mentality. He's setting the tone for what could be the beginning of a very special era in Philadelphia. Remember what happened in 2023? That hangover after the Super Bowl appearance in 2022? The team fell flat. You saw the difference immediately. The intensity wasn't there. The energy was off. But now, the lessons from that season are clearly being applied. That's why the mentality this time around is so impressive. There's no victory tour happening in Philly. There's a mission to stay great, to stay relevant, and to build something that lasts. And the chemistry on this squad? It's looking rock solid. There's a great photo floating around from ring night with A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, and Saquon Barkley, 3 dynamic weapons, all locked in and all hungry. That brotherhood is what pushes teams over the top. That hunger is what makes the difference between a one-and-done and a dynasty. Let's not forget what's going on around the league, especially with our so-called rivals down in Dallas. While Philly is locked in and professional, the Cowboys are once again melting down under the circus tent that is Jerry Jones. The guy is taking public shots at Micah Parsons and Dak Prescott, calling Micah Michael and bringing up old injuries like they were character flaws. Parsons only missed 4 games, but Jerry's out there spreading fiction like it's gospel. That's your owner, Dallas. And not just any owner. He's doing this at the opening press conference of training camp, essentially throwing his quarterback and his best defender under the bus. JJ would even chimed in on social media to call it out. Parsons retweeted it. So now you've got your top defensive star already upset before the first full practice. What a mess. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman are keeping things tight. No drama. Just a focused organization, led by a hungry coach, a disciplined front office, and a team filled with veterans who understand the assignment. That's the difference between a team hoping to get lucky and a franchise building a legacy. So what do you think about Nick Sirianni's offseason approach and the team's mindset heading into 2025? Let me know in the comments. And that brings us right back to the importance of stability in Philadelphia, because the Eagles aren't just trying to win again, they're trying to build something that lasts. That's why Howie Roseman continues to be such a critical piece of the puzzle. He's not waiting until contracts become a problem. He's always one step ahead. You look at what's going on with Micah Parsons and his contract situation in Dallas, something that could have been handled last offseason and saved the Cowboys tens of millions. Instead, they waited, the pass rusher market exploded, and now the Parsons deal is going to cost them far more than it should have. Compare that with Howie's method. You know that if players like Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith ball out this season, Roseman will move quickly. He's going to lock them in before the market resets again. It's that proactive approach that's kept the Eagles competitive year after year. Howie's not just good with money, he's brilliant with timing. He's not letting emotion or media noise sway him. That's the level of executive excellence that sustains greatness. Even more telling is the contrast between ownership. Jerry Jones has to be front and center every time the Cowboys make a move, often stirring up more chaos than leadership. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Lurie stays out of the spotlight and lets football people run the team. That kind of trust, that structure, it matters. And you see it reflected in the product on the field. We can't overlook what Jerry actually said either. Publicly taking shots at your quarterback, joking about players getting hit by a car when discussing contract risks, suggesting that your top cornerback, Trayvon Diggs, should be around more because he's paid like a leader. This isn't team building. This is dysfunction. This is exactly what winning organizations avoid. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, the culture couldn't be more different. Nick Sirianni isn't out here drawing attention to himself. He's rebuilding the system from the ground up every single offseason. That's the kind of leadership that resonates. He talks about reteaching situational football, reinstalling team culture from day one. He's not